On today's episode of What's Life Without Cricket is Vijay Lokpalli, veteran sports journalist and someone whom I look up to greatly as a human being. This episode is unmissable. Enjoy.
Thank you very much for being on the show. And there's a standard format for this show. Always kicks off with the same question. Vijay bhai, what would life be like for you without cricket?
No life, because I have lived my life with cricketers at the cricket ground, and to tell you the truth, I spent more time with cricketers than with my wife.
Well, let's go back to some of the early interests in cricket for you, because recently you've been sharing some very interesting posts on Facebook and things like that, which I guess you didn't have time when you were full-time working as a journalist, but nowadays little nuggets are coming out. So as a boy, what helped you develop your interest in cricket?
Same, Anand, like you also would have done the same thing, I'm sure, playing in the neighborhood, wanting to become a Pataudi and then wanting to become a Gavaskar without, having a proper bat in hand. And we would have our own neighborhood test matches where, one team would be Pakistan, one would be India, and the arrangement was that Pakistan would always lose. So those were great times. We would spend so much time on the cricket, on the grounds, and not just playing cricket. There was football, there was some athletics at school, but nothing to beat cricket. I mean, cricket was like the national sport, and hockey being such a tough sport, one could never think of becoming a hockey player. But cricket came in handy, Anand, because one ball, one bat, and 22 people could be engaged.
And subsequent to playing, you also went and watched matches. You went to the Kotla. You've written about how your mother played such a big influence in you going and watching a match. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, that was, I have told you already. I mean, that was a big sacrifice she made from her collection to give me to buy me a season ticket, even though it was in the stands. But for me, it was like grandstand, watching from maybe the pavilion, the best of seat. And those were lovely days, learning process. And Anand, I wish you had been around in the 70s when you could walk to the Firozshah Kotla and watch Gavaskar in practice. Bishan Singh Bedi at another net, he was doing his practice. Vengsarkar, all these big names, Sandeep Patil, Mohinder Amarnath, Madan Lal. I mean, I have grown up watching them in the nets, believe me, and then in the matches, and then getting to know them and then getting to write about them. So I think I should consider myself very, very fortunate.
And the transition from loving the game, being a fan, enjoying it, to working around it in the profession, where you spent a great number of years doing that, and all with one organization also. What was that like, that transition period?
That wasn't very difficult, because having grown up watching cricket, and then, Anand, in my early years of journalism, I used to write about them. I would write profile in a local newspaper called The Patriot. So I got to know them. They became friends, and there were many occasions which will not happen today. You could, after a game at the modern school, we would all go to the Bengali market and have chola bhatura and lassi. And who were my partners at the table? Jatin, Manoj Prabhakar, Raman Lamba, KP Bhaskar, Ajay Sharma, Atul Vasan. Imagine. I mean, we were all sitting in a restaurant at Bengali market having snacks after the game was over. So, and listening to the cricket talk. So at times I used to consider myself part of them. I was not playing with them, but learning, watching, following their career was so good, and traveling with them. Believe me, I could travel with them as part of the team. Which was again, I say, I was extremely fortunate that it could happen then. Now it won't happen. For whatever reasons. And Anand, you should know. I mean, you have been around that time when we would have lunch with the players during the Ranji Trophy lunch break, and breakfast also at the ground with the players. So you have seen that era.
Yeah,
definitely. And in fact, probably the only place where that still happens these days is here in Bangalore, where we have one ground, the RSI ground, which is managed by the army. So
Yeah.
they have a small pavilion, but they don't have a separate media facility. So because of that, they are forced, sort of like our Palam ground in Delhi.
Yeah,
Like that, they have no option. The media has to have lunch with the players only.
correct.
So it kind of continues in these, I think, smaller centers, but in the bigger grounds, of course, no such thing is possible. I remember the first test match that I covered, I met you during that game. It was an India-New Zealand game in Mohali, I think about 20 years back, it must have been. And it was certainly very different then. Even the press conferences used to be much more relaxed and casual. The players did not necessarily think that we are against them and would, it was not a quarrel. A press conference was not a quarrel, but a more
Yeah,
friendly exchange.
very true. And there was no media manager.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. Apart from Mr. Walia, who was there in Mohali and is still very much there.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, yes.
So how would you look at how things have changed over the years? From when you started off to when you kind of finished off. Not finished yet, obviously, but officially when you finished off. How did things change between the players and media?
No, you are right, Anand. I am officially done. I mean, I'm not. I would not like to go to a test match where you can't even. You are treated. There is a wall between you and the team, as if But who is at fault? Who do you blame? Not the journalists, the players, because they are the ones. Even if if say at a press conference, if you are asked a question, you should know how to reply, what to say, right? So I would blame the cricketers more than the media for this wall, which has come now. And it was so beautiful to begin with, Anand. I mean, like these, I don't remember these press conferences actually. There was one, I still have that picture with me. Jatin, a press conference, a fantastic press conference at Harare with Sachin Tendulkar and his deputy Ajay Jadeja, and attended by R. Kaushik and Vijay Lokapalli. Just the two of us. I have the picture because Kamal Julka clicked it, and that was a press conference. And there was another press conference with Viv Richards, just four of us, in 1987 when the World Cup happened. So media has grown, so I can understand pressure on the players must have grown. I mean, they cannot oblige so many journalists at a time. And if they oblige Anand, then Vijay will feel, he'll take it out upon the player. So it has changed a lot. And the same same is happening at the domestic cricket level also, where you are treated like an outsider. There are no media. Then there are no good media facilities also at many cricket grounds for domestic cricket. Sadly, there is no scorer.
Yeah.
To assist so they say you follow online. There is a BCCI thing where you can follow the the scoring process. But it has changed, and it is no more spectator friendly, and definitely not media friendly. Definitely not.
Vijay sir, you have been privy to covering so many great moments of Indian cricket. Which are the two or three favorite games which you enjoyed the most? Covering those games.
Yeah, some of them, like I remember I would say the Kumble. Anand, you were there? Anil Kumble, 10 wicket.
Oh wow!
Are yaar, where were you?
Not yet. I was almost there, but not quite there yet.
Oh, so that was one game. I mean, I was lucky to be there. And then the 2001 Test match. Anand, you were there.
I was there for that.
Calcutta.
Yes.
So that was one great Test match. And the third one would be, it would be at the top, the Tendulkar show at Sharjah, 1998. And you were there, Anand?
No, I was not. I started only in 99, Vijay Bhai. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, right, Mohali. Yeah, you're right. So these three games, winning at Sharjah was rare for India, and we have all known what Sachin did on those 2 days. And then 2001, what Harbhajan, Magic, and of course Lakshman and Dravid, Jugalbandi, unforgettable. And of course, Kumble, 10 wickets at Firozshah Kotla was incredible. I mean, we as journalists we were praying for him to get the 10th wicket. You know?
Yeah.
After 8th, then 9th, and then 10th, and we all felt very happy for him. So I think these three moments, there will be many other, like the 1999 test world tied match at World Cup, which was very tough, you know, against the deadline, and then you don't know what is happening, and then it was tied. Anand, can you imagine? Oh, it was very tough. So some of these games, and of course India beating Pakistan, 2003 World Cup, Anand.
Right.
So that was a great game again. So many such games.
Tell us about the atmosphere in the media box at such times. I mean, for example, as Anil was nearing that landmark, it must have been a tense atmosphere even in the media enclosure, right?
Oh yes, I think the roar from the media box would have matched the roar from the rest of the stadium. Believe me, because Kumble is a nice man. He has many friends in the media, so I was not surprised, and you should not be surprised if I tell you that we all jumped in joy. Kumble was the one to do a Jim Laker, but and no one deserved it better than Anil, because a person who has played with such dignity. Don't you agree? What do you say, Anand?
Completely, Vijay. I think also, see, you know, a lot of players take 5 wickets, a lot of players take 7 wickets. But 10 is such a unique and rare thing. I mean, you don't get up and cheer in the press box when somebody takes 5 wickets. And usually the match is still very much on when a 5-wicket haul has been taken. But 10 is the kind of thing that happens once in a lifetime, literally. I mean, most of us won't get to experience that.
I'll tell you an interesting story about Anil. You know, Anil and I have been old friends, Vijay sir, we played under 19 cricket together. You know, and we were involved in a great game versus Pakistan under 19, but this story is not about that game. This story is about, during the 1993 England tour to India, I think Anil was man of the series, if I'm not mistaken. And the last test match was in Bombay. And, we are still close friends. And after that game, how we celebrated his man of the series. We went to Khau Galli and had vegetable pulao, both of us.
Oh, yes, that's interesting.
But that tells you about the guy as well, right? You know, and sir, tell me about that partnership in Calcutta. Could you guys feel something building up during that partnership?
To tell you very honestly, some of the journalists had confirmed the tickets for the 5th day. One Anand, let us not name him. The guy took the Rajdhani train and left.
Oh.
So to catch that train, he had to leave the stadium. I think an hour after lunch. And he missed it. So honestly, I never thought we would win. Even at lunch on the last day. No, I don't think. And I'll be lying if I say, no. I thought India was going to win. I would have been happy with the draw. And that's what I think Sourav Ganguly was ensuring, with a delayed declaration. He was just trying to make sure that we don't lose the game. And from nowhere, Harbhajan Singh spun that. Oh my God! I mean, his bowling, of course, and then you got lucky breakthroughs also in that game. So Australians would always crib about the umpiring. And they were not happy with the umpiring at Kolkata. So. And for no reason, Mr. Bansal always says that his claim that India never lost when he was umpiring. So that was a memorable test match. I mean, unforgettable, and the pressure was dead. I mean, again, like the Kumble game in '99, even this game, the media celebrated, and they celebrated as if one of them had taken the last wicket, So it was, and Anand, the passion for cricket in the Kolkata press box. It is, as good as you feel as good as you sitting in the stands.
with some epic personalities there from Kolkata as well.
Oh, terrific personalities, absolutely.
I want to recall just one thing from that game. I was working for a website then for Cricinfo. So I had to file session reports at the time. And you know what the internet connection was like at Eden Gardens, back in the day then. You could never get a connection. And if I didn't file my report 5-10 minutes after the session finished, then I would get a earful from the boss.
Yeah.
So the system we had developed was I would write the copy, keep it ready. I was staying in the Peerless Hotel close by.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes before the break, go outside, take a taxi, go to the hotel, send the report, and come back to the ground. Like one particular break like this, just walking up to the edge of the press box, and one wicket has fallen. Harbhajan has taken a wicket. Then walk little bit down that, like that long plank kind of corridor kind of thing.
Yeah.
By the time we reach the second one, next wicket has fallen. So no question of running, run back into the press box. And then the hat trick happened.
Oh, very tough.
Those were, see, some people were still sending reports by fax and all that back then. But as a website, we didn't have such an option.
I know. I mean,
interesting times, and that was easily, I think for me, that was one of the best matches and I feel a bit disappointed that match came so early in my career covering cricket, because after that it's very hard to get something to match that. From a completely hopeless situation for two guys to bat a whole day. And then matches heading towards a draw, and just when you kind of think you feel relieved that it's going to be drawn, from nowhere Harbhajan spins India to victory.
And I recently, Hemang Badani told me this story, Jatin, that test match, they were so sure of losing, the bags had gone to the airport. On the fourth day, the bags had been transported to the airport.
Oh my
and
God.
Then they realized, hey, Bapre, we have to come back on the fifth day. So the bags came back from the airport. Imagine.
That's amazing.
Very interesting story that was.
I was watching the game at home with Baba, and as soon as Steve Waugh enforced the follow-on, said he's making a big mistake. So he kind of read it a couple of days in advance. And he said they are making a big mistake here. They are making a big mistake. So you're just some of these gems. Sir, coming into writing, who were the people you looked up to from the fraternity?
From the fraternity, my immediate colleague, my senior in the Delhi Sports Department, Mr. K.P. Mohan. I have not seen a journalist, a flawless journalist in my life. He was so proficient with every sport. That's what a sports journalist should be.
Wow.
And he did a remarkable job of cricket writing from Pakistan in 1987. When the World Cup was held, Anand, he had gone there, and he was the only one to get an Imran Khan interview. And the interview happened a day after they exited from the tournament. Because Imran had promised him. So again, he just took a chance, called him. He says, "Ab kya baat karna hai? Chalo, phir bhi theek hai, aap aa jaiye." So he called him. He went to his house, and to Imran's house in Lahore, and he got the interview. So he was actually my mentor in Delhi. But the Dada of cricket writing, nobody can come anywhere close to him, is R. Mohan. I have watched him from close. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to ensure that as the last ball is bowled, Anand, his report goes.
Oh.
So I always thought if I could do like that. Some days I could, very few. It never, maybe if I have done, say, 50 matches, I would have done it in 4 matches. Match ends and my report goes. But R. Mohan, his cricket reading, his writing, his proximity to the players, Anand, he would give his 11, he would not wait to, like us, who would try to gather from the captain, vice captain, coach, what could be the likely 11, and then try to show your gyan. But his was original gyan. And 9 times out of 10, Jatin, his playing 11 would be right.
Wow.
And his curtain raiser to the selection committee meeting, people would say that all the information has been leaked by the selectors. But and he would never speak to them. I know it. He never spoke to them before so he was an amazing cricket journalist. To me, he was the best. Then of course, Mr. Rajan Bala.
Yeah.
Rajan Bala was so technically, oh my God, accomplished, and it was you feared sitting next to him because he would only pick mistakes. He would ask questions, then tell you are wrong. So you had to agree, but you learned so much sitting next to him, or literally at his feet. Most of us, Anand knows it.
Yes.
All those sessions in the evening, you just sat at his feet and listened to his
Oratory.
stories from the cricket
Yeah.
field of world of cricket. And then he was so respected. These two gentlemen, Armohan and Rajan Bala, were very well respected by the players. Yeah. And they would consult them. So that is some achievement, Anand, for a cricketer, for a national captain, for an Indian captain to be talking to a journalist and seek his views on what could be or what should be. Those were very different days. But both were again cricketers. I mean, they had played club cricket, so they could read the game so beautifully.
Right.
And of course, there are so many other foreign writers. Ray Robinson, we read. John Woodcock, we read, and I mean, those were great writers. Jack Fingleton, a cricketer come journalist. So they are legends of the game.
Yeah.
Mr. Raju Bharatan. Have you read Raju Bharatan, Anand?
Yes.
In Sports Star and the
Very
Hindu.
much, very much.
Yeah, and he was again amazing. He was so good in films and so good in cinema, cricket.
Yes.
So I would always say, if Mr. Bharatan told you, okay, Vijay, I can't make it today, I have to meet Sunil. So for him, Sunil could be Sunil Gavaskar and it could be Sunil Dutt also.
Yes.
Like Dilip could be Dilip Vengsarkar, Dilip Kumar.
Yes.
So he was that kind of Dada.
I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years back. Obviously, I've heard of him and met him sporadically at games, and but I met him in the context of a music event, and he left from there. He took a taxi back home, and a couple of other gentlemen around me said, "Do you know who that was?" I said, "Yes, I do." And they told me a story of how there was a rift between Dilip Kumar and Lata Mangeshkar. And Lata Mangeshkar said that I will never sing in a Dilip Kumar movie. He had said something about her style of singing or something like that. And she, I think he said that her Hindi wasn't good enough. So she actually engaged a Urdu scholar to teach her. And then Dilip Kumar wanted her to sing in the movies, but she refused to meet him or speak to him. But Raju Bharatan made that meeting happen, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is one famous picture, Anand, of Mr. Bharatan sitting flanked by Asha Bhosle and Lata Mangeshkar. He is in the center. Imagine, they are sitting and he is doing the interview.
Wow.
I mean, what dadagiri. Oh.
Yeah.
But may I ask one question of Anand?
Sure, please, sir, please.
From his earlier years, would you remember Anand? Would you remember Rajan Bala and Armohan in your early years?
Very much. And see, I grew up reading the Hindu and the Sports Star. So, and back in the day when there was no internet, no social media, no even TV was Doordarshan and very limited. So, I grew up in Madras, now Chennai. So my father's thing was very clear that you will only get the Hindu newspaper at home. Even later on, when other newspapers came, my mother if she wanted to get another newspaper, he would say that you can take out from some other budget. But from household budget, only we pay for Hindu.
Right.
I mean, this is a typical Madras kind of tradition and mentality.
Yeah.
So I grew up reading Armohan first, then yourself and G. Vishwanath.
Yeah.
But so my early formative years of finding out about cricket, especially when India was playing abroad.
Okay.
We would, and during the summer holidays and things like that, 2 months there, no school, nothing to do. India is playing somewhere, or Indian players are playing in county cricket.
Yeah.
Read from the Hindu is where we would get the news. Wake up in the morning, it used to be a thrill to read the paper because you don't know what happened yesterday. Nowadays, we get the information immediately.
Yeah.
Correct.
So of course, I agree completely with you on R. Mohan, Mr. Mohan being
Yeah.
host. And Rajan Bala, that test match, that Calcutta test match you were talking about, 2001, we happened to be staying in the same hotel.
I know.
So every evening was kind of a master class, but also a test.
Yes,
very much a test, because I was a youngster. First, I would be told, go to this place, bring one chicken roll, one mutton roll, one this roll, one that roll.
Correct.
You can't ask for clarification, directions, nothing. You're told go, you must go. It's part of your apprenticeship.
I know.
These were very different times.
And before I forget, Jatin, I'll just quickly narrate one. I mean, I will share my experience of how we did the domestic circuit. I mean, apart from getting to travel with them and all, matches you could watch from very close. I mean, you could literally walk around the boundary, and you could hear their conversations. Anand, if you cover match at the railway stadium, you can hear their conversation. Captain giving instructions to the bowler, or wicketkeeper shouting something. So, but I was very fascinated by the nets, because nets, you could see how the seniors would guide the junior. There was no coach, Anand. So suddenly Jimmy Amarnath would be telling Raman Lamba, "Bhai, पैर निकाल, पैर बाहर नहीं आ रहा है ठीक से." Yeah, and then somebody would, he says, "नहीं भाई, इसका आज कुछ ठीक नहीं लग रहा है, इसका footwork." He says, "Watch out, कल ball हिलेगी, ध्यान से खेलना है." Next day, it was no surprise that the next day when the ball was moving, the said batsman would become an early victim. So then you would remember, that he was warned at the nets by Jimmy Amarnath that your feet is not moving. So you will have to be very careful against the moving ball. So, and bowlers, like I remember he is telling the seamers, "Bhai, thoda pitch up. You have to pitch up tomorrow. You'll have to pitch up. नहीं तो cut खाओगे तो Brijesh Patel है." So imagine, they are fearing Brijesh Patel, who will not spare any short ball. And of course, Gundappa. I mean, he was also there. This was Delhi Karnataka game, and those were lessons, Anand. And they would not come and drive us away. You could come and watch. You could watch the net session, and from so close. I watched one session where Mr. Gavaskar is batting. So the distance between me and him was just the net. Stumps, about 2 feet, and then the net enclosure. And I was watching his play, Bombay match, Bombay Delhi, and then some balls would come and hit the net, so I would roll them back. And at the end of it, there was this. It happened, so he came to collect the ball. I gave it to him, and he said, "Thank you." For me, that was that was great moment. And I was not a journalist, Jatin. I was just gone there to watch.
Right.
So, but I have watched Mr. Gavaskar from so close.
Yeah.
Just imagine, from so close.
Yeah.
He's facing the Bombay bowlers. But those were great days. You could do it. So, like I said, I'm very lucky.
And even covering Ranji Trophy cricket would have been enjoyable as well, right?
Oh, it was, because one, you say if there is a Delhi Tamil Nadu match, journalists would come from Chennai. Not from the Hindu. So similarly, Delhi Karnataka match, journalists would come from Bangalore.
Yeah.
That was a trend. They would travel and meeting them, getting to know them, and then evenings were spent together, going out, having a drink, going and exploring different restaurants. And Anand would always delay us, because of him, the khana was always late. So. But great fun. I mean, having those cricket conversations late into night. And this man never slept. Let me tell you.
I remember one of these Delhi Tamil Nadu matches at Kotla.
Yeah.
And Jatin, after lunch, it was a practice, because sometimes it's a slightly dull session and things are slowing down, and we've had good food, so it tend to get a bit drowsy in the press box. So we used to be allowed to walk around the boundary. While the match is going on, journalists, we could walk around as long as you didn't walk in front of the side screen. That much sense we had, or mostly we had. One of these times we were walking around the boundary row, and the late V.B. Chandrasekhar was a selector at that time. So he was traveling to watch one of the matches. and he was chewing gum non-stop. So I told him, give me also some gum. And he said, no, this is not for you.
Yeah.
Leave it be. I didn't know. I said, no, why not? You're chewing it. Why not me also? It turned out to be one of those nicotine gums.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
So I popped it in my mouth, and immediately I started feeling like, I wanted to throw up, and it was like a burning sensation.
Yeah.
Huh.
And we were at the boundary row. There was nothing to do. And Amit Bhandari was fielding there close by.
Huh.
Next to him, there were 2 bottles of water kept for him to drink. So immediately, one of the journalists said, Amit bhai, de do na, and he chucked 1 bottle. I mean, this was possible while a Ranji Trophy match is going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
you can't even imagine nowadays.
You remember yesterday, I don't know if you saw Anand and Jatin, I put out a story on the Raman Lamba thing.
Malamba.
I mean, it happened in a Ranji Trophy match. We were having
Yes.
peanuts.
Yeah.
He was fitting on the boundary. He says, "Kya kha raha hai?" I said, "Moongfali." He says, "Mujhe bhi de." So I gave it to him, and then he put it in his pocket. He kept munching. Went away after the over. He came back. Again, he said, "Thodi aur de." So peanuts were over. There was some gajak left. So I said, "Gajak hai." He says, "Jaldi de." And I gave it to him through the mesh, and some he spilled, some he salvaged, and he turned to see a ball had been skied in his direction. From outside the rope, he ran, and the ball only grazed his finger, so he dropped the catch, and only because I had delayed giving him that gajak. And evening there was a dressing. Oh my God, that was a Ranji Trophy match, and we got a dressing down from the Delhi captain, senior player. What is this? But these great fun in domestic matches.
Jatin, before I hand over to you, can I ask one more question?
Of course, please.
So, Vijay bhai, one of the things also, you've known cricketers of various different vintages over the years. From your friendship with somebody like Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar, from there downwards, right down to current players today. Is it sometimes difficult to be both a friend and a journalist? Because, sometimes people say if you are a friend, then you can't criticize them. If you criticize them, then you can't be a friend. So, doing your job professionally and maintaining a cordial, friendly atmosphere, something you have managed over the years. It's a balance which not many journalists can achieve. So how did that come naturally? How did that happen?
It came naturally, Anand, because I could not hold back. If you see and go and see some of my cricket reports are very scathing when it came to even most of the players. But then I think the respect was mutual. It so happened that there was a couple of them they did not like it, and they didn't speak to me for say 3, 4, 5 days, and then they came back. So I explained that I was only doing my job, there's nothing personal. Because if you do well, I will write exceptionally well for you. But the thing is, we also have to draw a line, na Anand. I remember quickly. I'll tell you, KP Bhaskar. He got out at Rohtak, and he hit the stumps with his bat. The stumps went flying because he was not happy with the decision. And I was only journalist. So evening he said, "Yaar, thoda wo mat likhna, please don't write." Now it was a predicament. What do I do? I mean, I had grown up playing cricket with Bhaskar in Delhi. I was wondering, but I thought, no, I'll have to write, and I wrote. And he didn't speak to me for 2 matches after that. And then he realized, he came to me, he said, "Theek hai yaar." I said, "Look, Bhaskar, if I had not written that day, I would have fallen in your esteem and my esteem also. I mean, I was not there to protect you. I had to write it. And 2, if I had not written, you would repeat. So now at least you will not repeat, because it has been reported that, So there were moments, Anand, when cricketers, couple of them, they've stopped. They don't speak to me. Couple of them. So that's okay. I respect them for their cricket, not their behavior. So I had written about their behavior. So I was again, I would say, fortunate, Anand, because I have seen players, they take it to heart. So But maybe I think its personal equation also helps. Uh, at least in my case, it did.
Yeah.
Like I had a big fight with Manoj Prabhakar, and he's one of my best friends.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So you have to strike that balance. But Jatin, let me tell you, if ever there is an interview to be read, if ever, it was done by Anand Vasu, where he got Dravid and Lakshman. If you have not read that interview, Anand, pass on that interview to Jatin.
Please do.
It is a model interview, if you ask me. I mean, how an interview should be conducted, and he is having two stalwarts, and how you'll have to read the interview to understand what I'm saying, how it flows, and it speaks for two things. It speaks for Anand's cricket reading, and it also speaks for his relationship with them.
Yeah.
That they're they're so happy to share.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's a kind of interview which I as a journalist would love to do.
Yeah.
So I had made up my mind to remember and say this on your show, that it was one of the best interviews I have read. But I've never told it to Anand, so I'm telling him now.
So last couple of questions, but after the 1983 World Cup win, the next big one for us was the 87 World Cup in India.
Yeah.
And you covered that World Cup.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a few memories from right from the conditioning camp? And I know we've discussed a couple of really cool anecdotes about it. So I'm sure the viewers would love to know about those.
My two lasting memories is there was something about Gavaskar's injury. There was so much written in the media that something fell on his head and he missed the World Cup and this and that. Nothing happened. It was just that it had something had fallen on his head from the bus, inside the bus. So then he of course he played. We all know that. But for me, I have told you also in the past, which I've shared with you, my lasting memory from that World Cup is the camp at National Stadium. And it so happened that the camp was to be held at Udaipur, if you remember.
Right.
It was shifted from Udaipur because they didn't have good facilities there. So then it came to National Stadium in Delhi. Yes. And I had met Mr. Vasu Paranspe, Anand, in Bombay for the first time in 1984, along with my friend Dwarkanath Sansgiri, Pappu. And I told him that somehow you have to get me a session with Vasu sir. So having met him in 84 and then 87, I would see him every day. And there was this interview he gave us, and he only spoke to the Hindu during that whole Jatin in the whole camp. He agreed to speak to us, and I and KP Mohan went. KP Mohan did most of the talking. And you know what he said? There was a question KP asked him about who has impressed you the most at the camp, and there was no talk of fitness and all. I mean, they would just jog around and then start practicing. So he said, from the look of it, please watch out for Navjot Singh Sidhu. Now, Navjot Singh Sidhu, strokeless wonder, right? I mean, he was not known to be a very big stroke player. And why? I mean, we were shocked. And then, of course, again, KP asked him, are you sure, sir? I mean, Navjot Singh Sidhu. So he said, yes, because he is the batsman in the best nick. The way he's timing the ball, and I've seen him stepping out and play the ball along the ground against the Indian spinners, and the way he was hitting the fast bowlers or medium pacers over the top. So yeah, and Anand, the balls are flying, man. Last round would be go for it. Those days they would allow you to hit only in the last round of your 10 deliveries or whatever.
Last set.
Sidhu was in amazing form. Only then we looked at Sidhu very different. Once Vasu sir told us, that watch out for him because he is in superb nick. The way he's getting his back to the ball. Arey baap re baap. And you see what happened. We all saw what he did in the 1987 World Cup. So that reading of Vasu sir has stayed with me, and over the years we have benefited by constantly chewing him literally, and he would and, and what patience! I mean, he can talk 48 hours on cricket. Believe me,
Yeah.
and explain to you so beautifully. I remember one session I was in Chennai at the MRF Pace Foundation, and he was there. Dennis Lilly was there. I remember, and for me, Anand, believe me, my best learning moments have come from Vasu sir, because uh, he he watches cricket as cricket should be watched, and he likes to share his experience. He wants you to understand. Like, he was the one who taught me, Vijay. That's how he calls me, Vijay. I mean, he would say in Marathi, लिहिणं आणि पाहण्यात फरक आहे. Means there is a big difference between writing cricket and watching cricket. So you learn to watch cricket. And he told me you have to watch cricket by keep in constant touch of watching cricket. How, if you're not watching test match, you're not watching Ranji Trophy, go and watch some local match. You may not know any player, right? Suddenly you see one fast bowler is bowling or some spinner is bowling. So he says you will learn your lessons only at the ground by watching. So I have not forgotten that, and I have benefited from that advice he gave me at Chennai, that you will have to only learn by watching. And it is so true, Anand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so true. I mean, you cannot learn without watching. So, and what I liked always, I take pride in the fact that he said, Vijay, I love talking cricket with you for two reasons. One, maybe he would have loved it. And then another was, I never would let him rest. I had so many questions to ask him. So, yeah. And encyclopedia he is. Encyclopedia. I don't think, Jatin, you are so lucky. Nobody can describe a cricketer as Vasu sir does.
Yeah.
His strong points, weak points, and
Yeah.
oh God, I mean, he can watch the game and tell you the trend.
He told me one thing which I always use while looking at or while assessing a player, especially a batsman, and that is Jatin. It's very important to understand if he is a good player or a good looking player. You know,
Okay.
there's a thin line between the two.
Huh. Yes.
There's a very thin line between the two, and that's something which has never left me. That's my first filter. That is he a good player or is he just a good looking player? Is he a good player or is he a not so good player in great form?
Correct.
And if you build these kind of pillars for your framework, it's very easy to triangulate and get the right kind of result out of it. Sir, one last question.
Have you heard this? Have you heard this comment from him or term? Next Bradman. Anand, he had this. He would tell you that this boy is only good in the nets.
Yeah.
Nets ka Bradman of the nets. In the
Yeah.
match, he won't deliver. So, and he was 100% right. Always.
Yeah. He is a big Sunil Gavaskar. Sunny for him is there's Sunny and then there's everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But I remember the sense of humor never leaves him. I remember there was a long time back. I was a kid. And somebody came and said, "Ki Arey Vasu, at Matunga Gymkhana, there's a player who has the same stance as SMG. He's got the same height, same tilt of the head, but techa batla ball nahi lagat." But it so happened that SMG himself was not in the greatest of forms. So he said, then they are absolutely alike because hecha but batla ball nahi lagat.
And only Vasu sir could have said that.
Yeah,
Nobody else can say that.
Yeah.
Arey baap re. I mean, he's such a huge fan of Don Bradman, Anand,
Yeah.
that I'm told one day somebody was sitting and talking about Bradman. So Vasu sir tells him, stand up and talk about Bradman. You can't be talking about Bradman by sitting. And there are so many jokes of Vasu sir. I mean, he's a legendary.
But jokes apart, there's one thing I would like to share about Vasu sir. The first time I met him, he was coaching NCAA team which was playing in Buchi Babu tournament in Chennai.
Huh.
So that NCAA team had Yuvraj Singh, Mohammad Kaif, guys who had just won the Under-19 World Cup and come back, and they were making their way trophy and things like that. So they were playing against a team. I won't name the team because then the player in question will become obvious. Left-arm spinner was bowling, and Yuvraj was already on 20-30 not out by then. And I was sitting next to Vasu sir, and he said, now you watch, within half an hour, this bowler will go back into the dressing room, he'll take a shower, change his clothes, and he'll be relaxing over there.
Oh,
So I said, what do you mean? Because it was in the middle of the first session of the day's play.
huh.
6 balls, this was an IIT Kemplas ground, 6 balls went into the river.
Ore baapre.
Not out of the ground, went out of the ground, out of the stadium, into the river.
Huh.
And as predicted, that left-arm spinner who has played for India quietly went back into the dressing room, changed into jeans, one nice check t-shirt, put his head back on the kit bag, and was asleep for the rest of the day.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, he's
Because he could see what is going to happen, not what is happening.
Correct.
And in the book that Jatin and I did, Rohit Sharma shared a similar thing also.
Huh.
He said, when you're on the field, if you are the captain, you should not look at the scoreboard, because without looking at the scoreboard, you should know what is happening. If you're looking at the scoreboard, that means you're already 5 overs behind as a captain. If you're a bowler taking rest at fast bowler taking rest at fine leg, then you check the score to see which batsman is on what is one. But as a captain, you need to be 5 overs ahead of the game. And this, he said, he learned from Vasu sir.
Oh,
Rohit Sharma.
so many people have learned from Vasu sir. I mean, Rohit Sharma is down the line. I mean, last couple of years or whatever, last 5 years he would have. But so many of them have gained from their seeing with Vasu sir. And only he can tell them that you are not doing well, or you have not. This is not a good knock, or this was a bad shot. You haven't bowled well. Only Vasu sir could have told all those legendary players. So we are very fortunate to have.
One more story.
That my last visit to Mumbai. Tell me.
One more story comes to mind. I think Sachin had given an interview saying he is now going to play with a lot more patience. So I remember Baba called up Anil Joshi, who is very close to Sachin, and he said, "Are tu bhetnar hai iska tela kuthe? Are you going to meet him?" So he said, "Yeah, I'm going to his place today. So do me a favor, tell him that patience is for other players, not for him."
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can never forget that moment there at the book launch. Vasu sir had come.
Yeah.
And Sachin bowing and touching his feet. That was, I think, ultimate reverence from the greatest in the game to one of the greatest, I should say, coach, storyteller, whatever you want to call Vasu sir. Yeah. I mean, for us, he was, I call him cricket guru. So he is a cricket guru. I think we have all benefited, and Jatin has benefited the most. He can just go and anytime you can go and speak with him.
Sir, thank you very much. Always love chatting with you. मराठीत आपण जसं म्हणतो मन मोकळं ठेवून बोलू शकतो तुमच्या बरोबर. You enjoy the confidence of so many cricketers, ex-cricketers, journalists like myself, ex-cricketers like myself, journalists like Anand. Truly a pleasure to have you on the show, to go down memory lane and to relive those moments again. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be in touch, needless to say, offline. You'll find me an active participant on all your Twitter updates.
Thank you.
So just thanks again. I know I'm being a little formal, but it's important for me to convey that we are grateful that you're on the show. Thank you so much.
No, I'm grateful to share the platform with Anand, because to me, I think he's the last of that lot who will still give you a good cricket report.
Right.
He is not slanderous writing, or a report based on quotes. He has never done that. So he watches and writes. So to me, I think he's probably, I think the last Anand from the lot who watches and who will give you a good cricket report. So I'm very happy to share the platform with Anand, and thank you very, 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 very much.
Thank you, sir. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Anand. Thank you, Jatin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Do share, subscribe, and like. We will be back next week with a fresh episode.